Okay, it is August 9th at 2:30 and I have been fasting for 14 and a half hours now. Today is the 20th anniversary of, unfortunately, one of my favorite contestants on Survivor being voted off of the island, or more accurately, the day it was broadcast on television. And It was a sad moment for me, but she ended up starring in a movie, and she might not have done that. Colleen Haskell, she starred in The Animal. She might not have done that had she won $1 million on Survivor. It seems like she didn't get along with the entertainment world in the first place. Okay, and I want to mention something that also prompted me to think about reevaluating my relationship with food. A little tale of two people that I know of who could use some improvement with their diet. Not that they're doing anything wrong, but anybody could use some improvement, right? When I was 16 years old, I started eating healthier choices of food, but I would say I've been eating a lot more food, at least in terms of volume. Maybe not that much more in terms of calories, but because I'm eating foods that are a lot less calorie dense, right? But I made it a goal to never go hungry so that I would not have cravings for junk food, right? Or at least the cravings would be a lot more manageable, right? But I recently saw two people in my life that showed me that maybe that is not exactly the best approach. I do a lot of private tutoring, and I had one client that I had met at the library for some time now, but or this was I'm talking 2 years ago. I had met the client at the library for a number of weeks, but then one day his mother had said that he didn't have a ride to the library, and asked if I could go to their home. Going to somebody's home is a little bit tricky for me because I have allergies, and sometimes people use all sorts of air fresheners, chemicals in their home, and so I I nervously said yes, and I realized that I might have to excuse myself, and I kind of braced myself for that. So I pull up to their driveway, and as soon as I get in their driveway, I see a big bag of organic fertilizer, and I breathe a sigh of relief because people who use that kind of stuff are probably not going to use some air fresheners and all that. And sure enough, I didn't have a problem. Now here's the thing: the student that I was tutoring was somewhat overweight. I would say probably overweight, but not obese. When I got to their home, I realized they had all sorts of healthy foods. And then I realized that the kid I was tutoring, he's about 16, 17 years old. He's always in a big rush. He likes to wait till the last minute to do his homework. One time I had asked him to install some software on his computer, and he made a number of mistakes in selecting the settings. He was in a rush to get the programs installed. I knew he had installed the wrong version. It was a C++ compiler I was trying to get him to install. Even I myself, when I get a new computer, I have a tendency to click the wrong settings. There's a 32-bit and a 64-bit. I had a feeling he chose the 32-bit because it comes up by default. And when I pointed that out to him, he got a little bit arrogant, saying that there's no way he installed the wrong version. He looked at everything, and I had a feeling he had the wrong version because even I myself have made that mistake a few times when I get a new computer. Always in a rush. I've never seen him eat, but well, actually I might have, but I can kind of see how he's always in a rush to eat. And okay. And then I have another client that I see, well, I still work with him at the tutoring center. Now I'm doing it through Zoom, but I was working with him at the tutoring center. And one of the big annoyances that I deal with sometimes is sometimes the kids bring food into the tutoring center. If they're very dusty, I gotta be careful. And it's kind of funny because I started working with him months before COVID-19 hit. And I was kind of practicing social distancing with him even before we knew what that was because of his all his dusty food. And then what's really especially frustrating is that he eats very slowly. Like I work with him for 90 minutes, and he might bring in a cookie. It might last like 40 to 50 minutes. I'm not joking here. But he chooses relatively not so healthy foods. and he eats them very, 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 very slowly. He's about the same age as the other kid I mentioned earlier, and he's a very good body weight, very active. It made me realize that if I can combine the benefits of both of these clients that I'm working with, right, healthy choices, but very, 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 very slowly, I can get the best of both worlds, right? Fasting has kind of helped me with that. One thing I find very helpful is if you've ever watched old clips from old movies or old history shows. In the 1970s, when we had an oil crisis, people often, before they would go out on a trip, is my trip all that necessary, right? Is the next thing I want to eat all that necessary? Is there anything else I could eat to satisfy what I need? I find if I spend just, what's really funny is that I'm recording this in 2020. Now we have to wash our hands before eating, right? If I spend those same 20 seconds while I'm washing my hands to think about, do I really need to eat what I'm eating? What's really funny is that sometimes I'll be working on the computer and I'll think I need to eat and I go wash my hands and I realize I really just needed a break from the computer. I didn't really need to eat, right? It really helps if I just put in that extra gap of thinking, right? Just like my student who eats so slowly that he can think about his next bites, right? I tend not to like eating slowly because I don't want to get food on my computer and I don't want to take too much time away from my computer. So that doesn't work for me. But asking myself if I want to eat before I actually reach for it, right? Or especially now during COVID-19, right? You ask yourself, do I really, 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 really need to go to the store? Do I need to go see somebody? Can I turn on Zoom instead, right? And you slow down your thought process, right? I find that very helpful. I wish we had a campaign where people ask themselves, do I really, really, really need to eat, right? If we had any shortages, I bet that would come up a lot, right? Unfortunately, here in America, we're a very commercialized society, right? Asking people to eat less is not a very popular suggestion, right? Because obviously the people who produce the foods would not like it, right? And they have all the political power, right? But I think the idea of spending 20 seconds to ask yourself, do I really, 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 really want to eat what I wanted to eat? I find that a very helpful piece of advice. Thanks for watching.